Hello guys, today I'm going to be demonstrating the 5 most common chess traps that you can use to win your chess games. The first trap is white responds with e4, black plays e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, d6, and white plays the move knight c3 here. Black will most likely play bishop g4 in this case, and white has this really strong move h3. Believe it or not, the best move for black in this position is the recapture on f3, and then after queen takes f3, black gives away his double bishop pair, and white has the initiative. Most players will play bishop h5, and this is a losing move, due to knight takes e5, and after a move like bishop takes d1, bishop takes f7, king e7, and knight d5, checkmate. You might be wondering what happens after knight takes e5. Well, in this case, white can recapture an h5, and after knight takes e4, he has this extremely strong move, queen b5, check. After a move like c6, queen takes e4, white is up a pawn in this position and has a winning position. The next trap I'm going to be demonstrating is after the move e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and bishop b5. This is called the Royal Lopez position. Black plays a6 and white plays bishop to a4. Black develops his knight to f6, and in this case, white castles long. This is the main critical position. Black plays bishop to e7, developing his bishop. White plays rook e1, guarding the e4 pawn. Black plays this tricky move b5. The idea is after bishop b3, he can hit it with d6. And now, if white makes a typical mistake of playing d4, black is already better in this position. After e takes d4, knight takes d4, knight takes d4, queen takes d4, and followed by c5. This is a very common trap in which many players fall for it for the white side. The idea is now after queen b1, c4 wins the bishop, and now black is up a piece. What white should do in this position is follow the idea of c3, and the idea is to follow d4 next move. For example, after castles, white can play d4 in this position and control the center, and black will respond with bishop to g4, and we have a very imbalanced game where both sides can get initiative. The next trap I'm going to be demonstrating arises from d4, d5, c4, e6. One of the most solid approaches against d4 for black. White plays knight c3 and black plays knight f6, and typically white plays bishop g5 in this position with the idea of c takes d5. And in this case, black sets up a really interesting trap with knight b to d7 here. And the idea is if c takes d5, e takes d5, white thinks he can win a pawn in this case from knight takes d5. However, this is a losing move due to knight takes d5, bishop takes d8, then bishop to b4 check. Now the only move for white is to play queen d2, and in this case, black can just recapture, and king takes d8. And if we do a material check here, white has a bishop and a knight, whereas black has 2 knights and a bishop, which means black is up a piece. The next example I'm going to be demonstrating is called the fishing pole trap. White responds with e4, and black responds with e5, knight f3, knight c6, and bishop b5, aiming for the Royal Lopez or Spanish game. Black plays a6, bishop takes e6, and d takes e6. If white recaptures on e5, black can play queen d4, winning back the e4 pawn. In addition, he also has a double bishop pair, which is an asset to his position. White correctly sees this, and he castles. And in this case, black plays the strong move bishop g4, setting up the fishing pole trap. White will respond with h3, and in this case, black will play the brilliant move h5. The idea is after h takes g4, knight h2, black can play the move queen to h4, threatening checkmate. If white responds with knight takes g4, well, black plays queen h1, and checkmate has arisen. Therefore, the best move in this position is to play d3, and black will play queen f6, knight to d2, and knight e7, rook e1, and knight g6, the typical setup for black and white. We have a very imbalanced position where both results can occur in this position. The final trap in which I'm going to be showing you is a very common trap between lower rated players. White plays e4 and black plays e5. This is called the king's pawn opening. White develops knight f3 and black plays knight f6, copying him. This is called the Petrov's defense for black. After knight takes c5, which is the most common reply after knight f6, black typically responds with d6, and after a move like knight f3, knight takes c4 is fine for black. However, if black responds with knight takes c4, white has a big advantage in this position. After the move queen e2, knight to f6 is the only move, and then knight c6 check, winning the queen. If he plays d5 in this position, white has a strong move d3. Now in this case, if bishop d6 happens, white can simply just retreat with knight to f3. And notice how white is exploiting this diagonal the whole time, and white is going to be up a piece or a queen. So hopefully you guys learned something from this video, and please subscribe to stay tuned for the next episode.